Hello, welcome back to Cardiff City World. I'm your host, Evan James. Joined with me tonight is the return of Mr. Matty Angel. How are we?
All good, my friend. All good.
Awesome. I think this is the most backwards thing ever that I'm hosting, and you're not up for once, which is going to be very interesting. But
the apprentice have got to take charge sooner or later. But
the coach becomes the coachee, or whatever way around it say it is. But yeah. So no, honestly, I'm lost for words, lost for hope. Cardiff City should have won 5-0 and we're going to go down, basically. That's what's going to happen. I can't get over how poor we're. No, I'm not going to do that too much because we still got a long way to go. But all I'm going to say is that from what I've seen the last few games, and to do this all without the likes of Ruben Colwell, without Kellyman, and Eli King hasn't been involved at all, and we've had only just the return of Ollie Tanner now, and it just seems like we can almost bend into a pretzel whenever we want, and we can still pull results together. You've seen players like Turnbull now finally finding his feet at the club, Chambers as well, Chris Willock, quite early in the season, but as much as I didn't see the entire game the other day, I did see the highlights, and I gotta say, that's all I really needed to see to see how well this team's forming. I think Bradford, I genuinely thought would probably draw, maybe lose some. I think it's the two teams I think we would lose to this season, Bradford and Lincoln, because I think they are possibly the best two, not including us. Were you surprised, first of all, any lineup changes or anything else? See Turnbull in the 10, or was it, not many surprises?
No real shock in the lineup for me. Obviously, we did cover a little bit of it on Saturday with Reece, but no, I don't think so. Having time to reflect and look back, I think obviously with the injury situation we have got, I think Turnbull has played well the last, few weeks, to be fair. So he kind of deserved his shot in there. I think that midfield with Wintle and Robertson at the moment is going as good as it possibly can, to be fair. But no, it was for the first 30 minutes, some of the football we played and the passing, considering we were away from home as well, was outstanding. And for us to take a 2-0 lead after the first 25-30 minutes was, well, just couldn't believe it, if I'm completely honest with you. You kind of knew Bradford were going to come back into the game to a certain extent and put pressure on us, which they did. But it was just nice to see us play second half with backs against the wall for majority of it, but players putting their bodies on the line and challenges, and yeah, it was a gritty second half performance, should we say?
Yeah, I gotta say, I saw the first half, I will say, before I had to go shoot off to work. But it was nice to see that in the first half, I got to see some action. Got 2 goals. 1 second, my phone does that once every stream. Hope it's all right now. But yeah, it's nice to see. I will say that we're not just a possession-heavy team now. At the start of the season, I think people got the impression that we were just wanting to keep the ball, and that was kind of it, really. But I think now it's nice to see us that we're not afraid to create more chances now. We're not afraid to take more risks. I think an early criticism of me was the fact that we were creating stuff. We were keeping the ball up, but we weren't doing a great lot with it. But now I do think that we're slowly building brick by brick, and we are adding to it now, which is great to see. I'm not sure if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I think Ollie Tanner's got to take a bit of credit for that as well now, coming back in. Obviously, he's been out for 4 or 5 months. And he actually looks like a winger who's going to put the ball in the box. Obviously, I know it come from a corner, his cross, but for the second goal, Chambers' goal. But he's a winger who's not afraid to fire that ball across the 6-yard area, and we're hoping for a toe on the end of it. So I'm quite surprised he's come back the way he has, only because the last time he had a bit of an injury layoff, he come back and he was kind of thrown in the deep end. He didn't really look fit and he was struggling. But again, I think I talked about it on Saturday, but I think he's upped his game quite a lot because he's tracking back now and he's helping like Perry NG and Joel Colwell, who come on second half for NG, which was a bit of a shock for me, really. But listening to the manager after the game, they've been working on that in training. So yeah, yes.
I think he had been playing right back a bit for Cheltenham to start with, or maybe it was Exeter, I think, or one of them. But he has been playing right back. Yeah. I mean, pre-season he was tested at right back, a bit mind as well. So I think for him, the difference of putting like someone like Fish or Lawler at right back is that you haven't got the same energy as Joel Cole would bring. And that's no criticism to Fish or Lawler, because I think they almost nailed first team starters. But I mean, even saying that now, you look at Osho, who's up his game now, and Chambers as well seems to have a goal in every other game at the moment, but a centre back. But I think with Joel Cole, I think there's a real intention behind. You want someone with a lot of energy, because like Brian by Murphy, he showed before with Joel Bagan. I mean, before we'd see Joel Bagan invert, and that was about it once in a while. Now he's overlapping a lot, he's inverting, and he's also expected to defend as well. He's doing everything, and he's not exactly the fastest player, but just like Joel, they both got bags of energy, and sometimes you don't need someone who's the most technically gifted. You just need someone who can, like you said, who's very direct, like Tanner, can put balls in the box. And funny enough, all it takes is sticking a leg out sometimes, and that or a deflection that goes in, and that's exactly what happened with Chambers' goal. And me and Reece scream about this all the time. I'm sure he has on many of the 1927 shows, where it's just a case of drilling the ball in the box sometimes, and it doesn't take a lot of imagination to figure out what else needs to happen. But think of the first goal scored by David Turnbull, Di Turnbull, our good friend. It seems like ever since that Chelsea game, he's found his feet at the club. And
I think his confidence have grown, and it's got to be difficult. I don't know what your thoughts are, because obviously the manager's kind of approach to games is he chops and changes, and there's a lot of rotation. You look at the back four, it's very rare we have the same back four week in, week out. And very similar with the midfield, really, depending on obviously injuries and things. But obviously he had his opportunity on the weekend, and he, grabbed it with two hands. I think, like I said, since that Chelsea game, the confidence he probably got from scoring that goal against Chelsea is doing wonders for him, in fairness.
Yeah. Did you ever sort of think that maybe, oh God, you got Robertson, Turnbull and Wintle in the midfield. Did you ever think that maybe he was a bit, well, a lot of people would have looked at as quite defensive, but I mean, Turnbull's used to be a number 10 for Celtic, I believe, anyway. So, and, quite the set piece taker. Was it maybe, I'm not sure how the fans reacted. Again, we have our WhatsApp, if you remember, and all that. And did you see much maybe concern, or they seem pretty happy and confident about
Turnbull? They seem pretty happy and confident. To be honest, I think it's always a concern and a worry when you haven't got your number one choice to obviously play there. Obviously, with Ruben, if he was fit, he'd be there. Kellyman obviously picked up a knock as well. So there's always going to be concerns. Can David Turnbull step in and do a job there? And fair play to him, he did. I thought he had a decent game. He didn't set the world alight, but he done everything he needed to do, took the opportunity that he was given. And I just think, we need to be doing more of that. I think Ryan Wintle had a shot when in row Z, Alex Robinson had a shot. But it's something we haven't done a lot during the season. Chambers have obviously scored a couple of worldies. But I don't think, because obviously we're possession base, he wants to keep hold of the ball. I think sometimes we're reluctant to kind of put our laces through the ball and have an opportunity or have a go. And I just think, do you know what? We got pacey players on the field, rebounds and stuff like that. So, have a go. And, in fairness, that strike he had Saturday was outstanding. He couldn't have put that in the goal any better, to be fair.
100% agree, yeah. I think with me, I'm not trying to be a know-it-all, but I think with the way he set up the shot for him, I think most people kind of knew it was going to be at least on target. I think with Turnbull as well, when you get that distance as well, he's got a rocket of a shot on him. I don't even think he hit it that hard that time, but he's just very good at setting the ball for himself and taking shots outside the box. If anything, I would trust him more to hit one outside the box than in. I just think with, Yusuf Salek and in Cam Chambers, you see, they got that reaction time in the box and know when to pounce on it. But I think with Turnbull, he likes to sit on the edge of the box. I think that's some players is knowing their strengths and using it to advantage. Oli Tanner is being very, very direct, taking players one-on-one. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I think a lot of players were coached out of their strengths under previous managers. And I'm not pinning all the blame on them, but I think you saw the likes of, other players we've had on loan, for example, where wingers are just coached out of being direct, and it's all with the intention.
Put the blame on him, 100% put the blame on him.
Yeah.
Because it's completely true. we've got the same players pretty much in the squad this season that we obviously had for the last couple of seasons. And it's chalk and cheese at the moment, isn't it? Like you said, there was so many times last year, you had Will Alves, great player. We go so far forward and then he's looking to stop, turn. And but yeah, it just seemed we was doing that a lot. And, like I said, it's chalk. I know we've obviously dropped down to League One. But the football that we're playing now is a million miles away from where we were.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to get your opinion then, because I'm not sure how much you watch other teams. I don't really watch much of League One myself. But is there, like you see in teams now, like Bradford slowly dropping? I mean, of course we beat them. They still had a decent form. But you're looking at a lot of teams now. Bolton only won 1 in the last 5, and they were really tipped as favourites. Huddersfield have only won 1 in 5 and then lost 2. They're playing Bradford next, so that's another 6-pointer. Is there any other teams you think maybe...
Sacked their manager as well, Lee Grant, didn't he?
Oh, there we are then. See, so now that could go one of two ways. You could have a manager bounce or not. And is there any teams you think might make a late playoff push or might sneak into to compete with us? Or you think...
I'm going to be completely honest, Ev, and I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I don't focus on anybody else, just Cardiff, if I'm completely honest, because I think as long as we can continue doing what we've got to do, take it game by game. Obviously, you look over your shoulders slightly, and that was a massive game Saturday, and we all knew what, potentially, I think they had a game in hand on us, didn't they? And obviously, if they had beat us Saturday and won their game in hand, they level on points again. So, for us to have taken that 3 points on the weekend was massive. But yeah, me personally, I don't tend to worry about anybody else. You like you said, you mentioned the Boltons, the Huddersfields, the Stockports. They were the teams that were touted to be up and around the top at the start of the season. I think Luton maybe making a bit of a push now for the playoffs. I think they're into like 7th, I think, are they? Something like that. They had a bit of a disastrous. So yeah, it's I don't try to focus on other teams, but to be honest, I got enough going on in my life to just concentrate on Cardiff.
No, that's fair. I sometimes I do like to now and again have a nose at the teams. I think I like to try to think and remember now who probably our toughest opponent was. And I think really, apart from Lincoln and Bradford, there's not many. I don't think there's that much competition. And in a way, I think it's a compliment to us to think that we weren't even tipped, for a lot of people, weren't tipped for automatic promotion. People think we'd stay in this league. And look, I know we've got a long way to go still, but I look at this team now and I think, when you think Ollie Tanner was one of the youngest players in our squad last season, and now he's one of the older ones, or, mid-range, it's mad to think. And to think that we're using pretty much our youth academy plus, a few extras to pull these results together. No disrespect to them, obviously done really well. I just think it's still insane how, dare I say it, how consistent we've been so far. And we've had patches where games we definitely should have won, but at least I think we're on the right trajectory in terms of we started a bit patchy and now it's become more consistent. I think that's more promising than maybe seeing it later in the season. But like you said, it is League One, but at the same time, it's no easy only way through it. But I want to jump into the comments quickly just to say hi to everyone, because I appreciate you all jumping in. And guys as well, if there's loads of comments, I can't guarantee I'll read them all out, but if you are inclined to leave a super chat, feel free to, and your comments will be guaranteed to be read out. And also, please do become a member of Cardiff City World if you haven't already, because you get access to exclusive shows on all the rest. Let's see, evening to Ian. Hi, always here, fair play. Steve Morgan, evening to you. Evening, boys. I've heard good news. Salek signed new contract for the club. What's your thoughts on that? I just saw that earlier.
Massive, to be honest. I think that could potentially, that's like a new signing again. I know obviously it sounds silly because he's already there, but I suppose the confidence that could, go through the squad now that he's committed and he's not looking to go anywhere. But on the other hand, then I know we're Cardiff City, and if somebody comes in blinking August with 15 million or whatever, does the contract really mean anything? Really, it just means that obviously whoever wants to buy him is going to have to pay a bit more money. But I love everything about him, right? And I know there's people, especially in our WhatsApp group and things, I'll slate him and that. But at the end of the day, he's our top goal scorer. If we didn't have him, where would we be at the top of the league? And you can scream and shout until you're blue in the face. And the fact is that if we hadn't had his 12 or 13 goals or whatever he scored, then we wouldn't be where we are. So, fair play to Cardiff as well. They've recognised obviously that he's obviously a young talent. And how often have we not been in this position in the past whereby we haven't done things like this and we've let things go on and go on and go on. But yeah, for him to have signed an extension to his contract, he's at Cardiff now till 2030. If all goes well, then happy days for me.
It's right. You make a good point there as well. As like the contract might mean nothing in a year or so time, and I hope that isn't the case. But I guess the one sort of safety net is that he's not going to go on the cheap. At least he's not if he happens to go a season. But I think that contract was not so much just about extending this time here, but it's more showing the commitment that he has to the club. Because even when we got relegated, he's one of the first to say, like, look, I'm here to stay and want to. And look, at that time, you probably think, oh, everyone's going to say, all the players will say that, and then they'll be sold next month or next week even. But it was, it was nice that he stood firm in it and he stuck by his word. And look, I'm sure, every player has their agent and they're always looking for options. But, he adjusted to the championship level in almost no time for us. I'm not sure if he scored in his debut, but, he didn't take him long to score. And he is looking at pretty much a goal every other game in the moment. Look at the stats, 12 goals in 26 matches for us. And he started 23 of those games. So, and he's still only got about like 3 fouls.
Well. I think you can genuinely see that he loves playing for Cardiff City.
Oh, yeah.
The way he interacts with the fans afterwards. I don't know if you've seen the video of him.
We are going up. Top of the league.
And I just think he genuinely loves playing for Cardiff. So, the more types of players we can get with that kind of mindset and that type of attitude, then, we're winning. So,
and he's not a penalty merchant either. I think he scored a single penalty yet. I think it's all been open play goals, goal from a set piece.
I'm not sure. He might have scored a couple of penalties last year. I'm not sure if he scored one this year.
I don't know. Maybe one this year, but again, I don't know.
I think when did we have the orange kit? The orange kit was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, the orange and black.
I'm pretty sure he scored one wearing the orange kit.
He might have scored one. Hey, well, here we are. So anybody who's saying penalty merchant, who's just any swans in here. No, but Halftime Order says, finally the club, BBM or someone else, is showing some real intent by keeping players, academy talent filtering through. Feels like a United club again. That doesn't mean we should be... Well, I don't even read that word. No, I know. I understand what you mean, Halftime Orders. Yeah, it feels like there is an actual plan for the club and not just like a very short-term plan, doesn't it?
Yeah. I want to go back, right? And some of the comments after the Bradford win the weekend, and they're talking about how much money. And I like looking at things on social media after we've played a certain team and seeing what comments are posted and that.
A bit more salt.
And, the fact that we got 6 or 7 academy boys in the first team squad on a match day is, credit to the academy and the work that's gone on behind closed doors there. But yeah, there's obviously fans from other teams in cuckoo land in it. But obviously, but I'd be the same if
the other chickens on
the other way around. But I don't know what's the ins and outs and how many Bradford players in their squad Saturday come up through their system. I wouldn't have a clue. But we're in a good place. But then the longer we can keep them together. And the youngsters are playing, and BBM's not afraid to give the youngsters minutes. Then, we're in a really good place. I know we still got 20 games to go, but yeah, we're in a really good place and very positive, mate. Which is, not a bad thing considering we're Cardiff City supporters.
You don't understand, right? The youngsters, they're not ready yet. They're not ready. I'm telling you. Like we had like 3-4 managers last month just say they're not ready. I mean. I don't want to. I love Warnock the best, honestly, right? But he looked at that academy when he was there, and he saw nothing. And now we got Isaac Davis, Ruben Colwell, and possibly one other person I'm forgetting about, and I'm really going to beat myself up over it. But there's different managers see different things in players, and if we could have had another manager, you might have got a tune out of different people again. But what's interesting to me is that the club could have got any proven League One promotion manager or championship, a manager with a good, CV under their belt, I'm not saying BBM doesn't, but he has the connections, and he's been trained at Man City as well. And he chose to go with someone who's possibly a bit of a risk, you could say, a bit of a gamble. You can't say for sure with any manager. But, we could have settled with the likes of, an Ian Evatt or a Warnock style, who probably can get us results, but doesn't have us playing the best football and might not be sustainable. Who knows? But I think, it's nice to know we got this is like a 3-year plan for BBM. And for those who are saying that, BBM will be going elsewhere, I know a lot. I watch a lot of other podcasts who talk about just League One in general. And they're almost certain saying that BBM won't last another season at Cardiff. But for me, and I know I can be biased and yourself as well, but the way I see it, it'd be an absolute waste for him to build this culture and this squad up only just to leave next season. Because let's be honest, right? Getting back-to-back promotions, let's just sell the dream for a second, with a young team is going to be a lot better on his CV than saying that he managed Wolves for about 6 months before they got relegated. That's just the way I see it. But,
and I'd look at it into exactly the same as you've just said as well. But I also look at it as well as he was probably a player that probably didn't reach the heights that probably some have reached. So he wouldn't have earned, millions and millions like some of the players have done. So, if a club like Celtic that's been rumoured, Middlesbrough, this, that and the other come in and double his wages with Cardiff, is he going to get tempted? He got a young family, 10 years in the game, and he can retire, spend time with his... Or, like you said, is he focused, 3-year plan, which, that's what I'm hoping. But I think he's committed to the cause, mate. I would like to think he's in it for the long run type of thing, and it'd be great if we can, keep him with us for as long as possible.
Yeah, I think by now, because even when we had Errol Bullitt, for example, and I was a big on the Errol Bullitt train initially. I thought I just like to sort of, I don't know, he quite seemed like a stubborn man. I quite liked that at first. And we had a full season with him. We did finish 12th or 13th. But even then at the end of the season, there were a lot of people who were very uncertain about him and could kind of poke holes in some weaknesses. And again, Brian Murphy's learning on the job, and of course his weaknesses. But I think with him, it feels like it's only got better the longer he's been here. And again, let's not forget, he had almost no pre-season with the lads, really. I mean, he got to learn his players and their personality during the pre-season tour in Spain. He's had the least amount of time to get other players out of most managers who start in the summer. And, he's got a tune out of them. But I want to just mention this quickly as well, that apparently our duo should be called Evans Angels. I mean, the Terrace Take will still stay the same, but I don't hate the idea, I have to say.
I like it.
It couldn't be called Matt's James, could it? It didn't really work that way around. So Evening Kurt does as well, Evening MT. Ian says, even now the football's improved from where we were in September, a lot more in control in midfield, and a lot less open defensively. A sign of BBM's knowledge, in my opinion. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I would agree with that, 100%. I don't think Ryan Wintle sometimes gets enough credit for the work he does, to be honest. I think he's a bit of an unsung hero. Again, come back in the summer, didn't he? Didn't really think he put a Cardiff City shirt on again, if I'm completely honest. And
no,
he's one of the older players in the squad, which, at 28 is a bit mind-boggling, really, especially when I'm 40-odd, 42. It's mad when you're thinking that, but I think he's been great for us. And him and Robertson now, that partnership they are building in midfield, I think is coming good, to be fair.
To be fair, if he was to take me on the club, BBM, I think I'd only get a 1-year rolling contract. I'd probably be a bit too old for the squad, I think. I'm only 23, but it seems that way sometimes, doesn't it? I mean, look at Joel Baker. He's 24, 25 now, and he seems like a veteran of the game, He seems to know it all. And I always thought in my mind, until Callum Chambers came good, I thought he would have been captain. And I thought, obviously he's got that leadership quality as well. But for me, Joel Baker is my captain. Just how consistent he's been, and we all know the same. But
I don't know if he's quite captain material, in my opinion. But no, I just think, I suppose he leads by example, doesn't he? He's Mr. Consistent. Yeah. He hasn't let us down. He flies into challenges. He's been there all season, hasn't he? He's been outstanding. And, the sooner we can get his contract sorted, the better, because he's out of contract in the summer.
Oh, God,
so, if they've tied Salak up now today, I'm hoping that they can get Bagans, because he's been worth his weight in gold for us this season. And I've been very impressed with him. Again, he was one under previous managers that was in and out of the team, and he was out on loan, this, that, and the other. But it's proved now you've had a decent run in the team. Like O'Dowda played a lot last season, didn't he?
I miss him.
But yeah, Bagan's been outstanding for me, and he's up there for close to Player of the Year for me as well so far.
Yeah. If it weren't for the 99th minute winner, I mean, I think he wouldn't get as much credit as he deserves, really. But no, it's hard to single out one player now, really. I just think for someone who's had almost no coverage, I mean, you have to put NG left back at once, and I always get a bit concerned. But hey, even people now are able to do the job, because I think BBM's focusing on signings of that are versatile players and not restricted to one position, like the likes of Kellyman. You could play him anywhere, and he's going to do a job. I mean, NG is the exception anyway, because you could put him anywhere, even in goals, and he'd still pull off game-winning saves.
In your opinion, is Kellyman better in the 10 than he is out on the wide?
I think so, yeah. I just think because he's so creative, it's almost like you're isolating that wide. But again, even in the Wrexham game, I thought he's really good, and he was all over the place. He started, I think, out wide, and he ended up as a striker. And it's not so much about where this starting position is, because I know BBM likes to play Chris Willock out wide, but he drifts inside, and I think Chris Willock's better as a 10. But for me, Kellyman is a 10. Well, he was a 10 anyway. He can do a job out wide. I just think you've got other options for wingers at the moment, and when that's the case, by all means, get Kellyman in the 10, because I think he's like Colwell in that he creates a lot, but he has a lot of flair about him, and he's very good with his feet, ball control wise. I think we're still yet to see the best of him though. And I'm sure he will stay till the end of the season. Even if they're thinking of sending him to the Championship club, I doubt that, because you'd want to be part of a promotion contending team, you would think. But that's just my honest opinion about it.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'll look good on his CV, wouldn't it? Obviously, he's going to want to go back to Chelsea at some point, no doubt. But
yeah,
if we can have him this year and maybe again next year, then he's still a young man. He's 19.
Not asking for much.
Is he is he ready to be competing for the Chelsea squad? I'm not quite sure. So, who knows? If we get promoted this year and Chelsea are happy with the way we've developed him and, worked with him, who's to say that we might not be able to have him again on loan next year in the Championship? Wouldn't be a bad thing to ask our question, would it?
No, I just realised a couple of weeks ago, Will Alves on loan with us last season. He went to Huddersfield, and he hasn't really hit the ground running as much. He's been loaned to league lower now, and he was another player who was out for a good portion of his youth career. It's not easy as just jumping back up, getting straight back to fitness, because you have physical fitness and then match fitness. And I think right now Kellyman's only just got back to being, well, aside from his little injury now, to being fully fit more or less. And I think the match fitness as well is almost there, the sharpness. But you see with Oli Tanner, I mean, they didn't rush him back. He'd been training for weeks, possibly months before they introduced him. They just didn't post much about it. And I hope they just do the same approach with other players if they do that. But the only thing is now is because he's on loan, he's going to expect to play. And if it weren't for maybe Ruben Colwell's injury, I still think he would have featured. But I think possibly more at wide, he wouldn't have had much freedom, let's say. But no, again, I think he'll be till end of the season anyway. But let's have a look who else. Gary, evening, mate. A good morning, should I say, actually. Bluebirds in New Zealand. Christ alive. Get my VPN on. Jonathan says, uses Salix signing all the time. 12 goals in league so far. Exactly right, yeah. First goal was against Reese's favourite team, Millwall. Oh, he's had 2 penalties. There we go. Evening Geraint as well. 12 more wins, lads, but let's not kid ourselves. A long way to go. Yeah, it's a long way to go, isn't it? But let's enjoy the ride, Let's get a little bit carried away. Jamie Welfare says, thinks Salek will score more in Championship. League One refs after every game. I think he's probably been called for 3 fouls the entire time, 3 fix. He doesn't get anything, does he, Salek?
No, he doesn't. But I think at the start of the season, you could see the frustration in him when he wasn't getting them. But I think he's probably learned to control that a bit now. BBM has probably had chats with him, this, that, and the other, and he doesn't look as frustrated now as to what he was at the start of the season. You might get a little stare at the ref and this, that, and the other, but he's definitely, I think he's acclimatized then, shall we say, to League One now.
Yeah, it'd be a shock for. I think, he adjusted easier to the Championship and League One, I think, which is interesting, really, because you just automatically think, League One is a lower league. He'd be bang goals all the time, but I think teams knew that he was new to League One. They got under his skin quite early. I think, again, like Port Vale and Burton Albion were a bit of a shock for him, maybe just the physicality of it. And I know Championship is not much less physical, but if I'm being honest, I mean, at the start of the season, he would come back and drop further back into midfield because at the time he was waiting for the ball. And if I'm being honest, at the start of the season, we weren't doing a great lot with it. I mean, we had Ruben to score that great free kick at the start of us, and we scored one of the open play goal. But, it has taken a bit of time for everyone, really. And I think I'm glad we're past that stage now of not creating anything, because I think before long it would have got quite frustrating for like Salek or Robinson, especially when you think they're going to be nailed on first names in the team sheet. But talking about Robinson, should I say, do you reckon he's maybe not happy with the game time, or do you think he's happy that I don't know. I worry every season. I think someone like Callum Robinson's going to end up leaving the season, and then he stays another season, and I'm happy about it. But do you?
If I'm honest, I think that he's probably tamping. He wants to play as many minutes as he can, but he's professional. And when he comes out and talks in front of the media and the questions asked, he's all about the team, this, that, and the other. And I think he's spot on. He's professional. I'd love for him to have more minutes. Again, he's been a great player for us over the last few years, and there's goals in him, 100%. It's just the way we set up at the moment. It's not great when they both play at the same time. Really, we don't seem to get the best out of everybody when Robinson and Salek are both on the field at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, totally agree with that. Really, I could just say the exact same thing. And I just found Jonathan's comment as well, saying about BBM, saying he looks really BBM looks happy, he's interested, and he looks passionate. He's building you. Don't see him going anywhere anytime soon, or he will feel it's unfinished business and it will haunt him. I think that's exactly it. He has that personality of, like you said earlier, to link back to that point, because maybe he didn't have the most successful career as a player. He feels like he has a point to prove, or maybe that he'll excel his managerial career. I mean, I'm not sure if it was Arsene Wenger or someone similar to him that was a similar thing, or I think even Jose Mourinho, I think, wasn't the best player as such from what people have said. But I mean, look where that took him. I'm not saying we've got someone Jose Mourinho-esque, but he has his own style, doesn't he? And I think he just works best with the younger players. But it would surprise me, Jonathan, if he were to go elsewhere.
What I like about BBM as well, he's always, it's not just him. He praises his backroom staff.
Yeah.
And a lot of praise goes on the players and how they work hard in training. So, he shares that credit round. He doesn't, sit there and take all the plaudits. He's quite, I like that about him. And I think sometimes we can forget how much of an impact the backroom staff have. I think there's a comment there from Halftime Oranges about Ollie Tanner and how he's come back fitter, as we mentioned a bit earlier. So, that's massive. That is the work they've obviously put into Tanner. When he's obviously fit enough to get back on the grass, shall we say, is massive. So, I know BBM, he's the front line type of thing then, and he gets all the plaudits, but I love the fact that he's open and he's honest, and he shares that credit round, really.
Yeah, I'd say Halftime Orange's comment has added to that point as well. You was exactly saying there. It's like, I think it's the unsung heroes, is the behind the scenes stuff that we don't see going on that probably should get more credit than we do give it. I think, you look at previous seasons with injuries, and especially 2 seasons ago, just wondering what the hell is happening. Like, it seems like, players are chucked into the squad when they're not fully fit. And, you wonder what's going on with the backroom staff there. Who's telling them they're clear to play? And I think last season when Ollie Tanner was chucked back into the team, it definitely felt like the wrong time. It felt like he was not fit enough at all, and they still chucked him in. I think it did a bit of damage more than recovery, really. But it's nice to know that the changes are happening from every level. It's not just from what we see on the pitch, because you could tell that it has a ripple effect on the club, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Let's have a look. John says, I don't think Robinson is happy with the lack of minutes, but unfortunately for Robinson, his body can't take consistent minutes anymore. He plays a few minutes too much. He's out for months. So it's Achilles issue. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but I don't know. Was he 29, 30 years old, do you reckon? So I come out off my face here. Like you said already, I think, no player wants to be sat on the bench, but I think he's, when you're part of a winning squad, you can't have much to complain about, really, because at the end of the day, the team comes first.
I'm sure he's 30, 31.
He's around that age, yeah. I think, Callum Chambers just turned 31 as well.
Yeah, it's his birthday today.
It's mad, Jose Mourinho never played kick
30, 31, beginning of next month.
Oh, there we are then. Christ, yeah. I think he's had mind you, can't complain about his career. He's played Premier League football for a few seasons as well, mind. So, and beating Chelsea. So I say the whole team looks fitter than last season. They looked finished. Oh, that's a really good point, Graham. And even, by the way, they looked finished after 60 minutes. Yeah, we did not look fit at all the last couple of seasons, did we?
And not just on the pitch. I think the amount of injuries that we were getting, the last 12, 18 months was frightening, really. And there was a lot of discussions around, especially on the podcast, around is it anything to do with the pitch and the training pitch? But I don't want to curse it now because we'll probably end up having 3 or 4 injuries Saturday.
Yeah,
but
too late.
yeah, it's Graham's fault now. If anything happens to any players on Saturday, Graham, I'm sorry, mate, but you brought it up.
It was a 3 point.
Yeah, so if we don't get promoted now, it's all Graham's fault.
To be fair, Gray is in your name to make it just a bit more, I'm doing a bit now. But to be fair, we've already had quite a few blows to us. I mean, Eli King, before the season started, Alex Robertson, it wasn't nice to have 2 midfielders injured before the season really kicked off. But yeah, Alex Robertson, I believe I put a video out about Alex Robertson earlier. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I think it was today. So go check that out.
It was this afternoon, 4 o'clock. It was a good watch 4 o'clock,
as well. Yeah.
So if you've got time to watch that one, go back on Cardiff City World, have a look at the Alex Robertson one. There's some good info in it. Fair play.
I have to say, fair play. I mean, he's a content machine, as you say, and I have to say that, otherwise I get fired. But no. No, in general, though, like you
can't get fired from a volunteer role, man.
Oh, you can. Trust me, I'll make it happen. No. But yeah, Graham, we're just saying about Bagan is out of contract soon. I'm trying to think who else could be out of contract as well, because I'm sure there's quite a few of them. I mean, Dylan Lawler, I'm not sure what happened if he got an automatic extension.
Yeah, he signed an extension, didn't he?
Yeah, but again,
maybe that's a video for site to have a little look at the players that perhaps contracts are. I think NG is out in the summer as well.
Here we are. We got some intel here, Matt, from Jonathan. Robertson video came out around the same time Salek new deal announced. Is that maybe a hint or anything, or is that just reading into things too much? Who knows?
You're reading into things too much. Simon released that, at the same time.
There you are. I think we're trying to read too much into it now. We need Bagan signed, I'm sure they're working on deals in the background because of it. And Dylan Lawler, though, I don't want to label this point too much, but I thought I'd rather bring it up at least once to get it over and done with, to scratch my itch on it. Be honest, how long do you realistically see Dylan Lawler being at the club for? I think at least the end of the season. And looking at, I would surely think, because some people say he's probably going to go in January now, but I doubt that.
Yeah, there's been rumours Coventry are sniffing around him, and obviously it was linked at the beginning of the month by Munich, which is obviously Bellamy's been probably talking to company. But do you know what? I think obviously he hasn't featured the last couple of games. He's had issues. I think someone said yesterday in a WhatsApp group that he had scans over the weekend or yesterday about his hamstrings, regarding his hamstring, and they come back all clear. So hopefully he'll be back in the squad for Saturday. I always found it weird, and I talked again to Reese about this, that he's carrying a knock and he's not fit or 100% fit, but he's still getting named on the bench. I think if he's not fit, what are we risking him for? Don't have him in the match day squad type of thing. Get a youngster from the 21s in there. I just think, if something was to happen and he had to go on after 10, 15 minutes, are we risking him then by naming him on the bench? I know that, the 2 games he has been on the bench, he hasn't got on. But, things like that could potentially bite us on the backside, really, long term. But, yeah, I'd be very surprised, mate, to see him go, especially this month. And, I would think maybe a lot of teams might look, if we get promoted this year, can he do it at, maybe if he has the same types of similar performances then in the championship from August to December, then perhaps, bigger teams will come sniffing again then, next January type of thing. But yeah, I'd be more than happy if we can keep him till at least this time next year.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up about the substitutions as well, putting unfit players on the bench. I think maybe we get into a more realistic point now. One of the maybe weaknesses at BBM so far, and we can all pretend that we would be the perfect coach for Cardiff City or any club, but it does sort of like concern me sometimes when we have no keeper on the bench. And look, I know we have that Harry Tyler, I think his name is, who's signed now, and BBM was quite clear to say that we needed a goalkeeper. I didn't think really Matthew Turner put a foot wrong. I know there's different styles of goalkeepers, I could say, but if I'm being honest, I thought he did a job. And it does worry me sometimes when we don't have a keeper on the bench, because I'm just waiting for Nathan Trott to sort of go down a bit and hold his hamstring or something,
Yeah, let's bring this comment up here from Geraint. I'll let you answer this one. Let's put the cat amongst the pigeons, lads. When Ruben comes back, is he going to improve us? Because as good as a player he is, he does tend to slow the play down if it's not broke, etc., etc.
Ooh. Thing is, though, 2 things can be right. I think we play well with Ruben and without Ruben. I think that's a great strength we had. I thought we would really struggle. I don't see how we get worse with Ruben, even if, let's say, he does slow the game down. Start of season, we played Ollie Tan on the right. And to be fair, against Peterborough, I thought, God, he's really slowing the game down. But in the same way, it kind of worked. I mean, the game plan worked. We won the game. And I think we have certain players who can slow the game down. It's not always a bad thing. I thought last season when we had Chambers in midfield, he was, by far the slowest and least mobile player. But I thought he did pretty well for number 6. Now, in the BBM, I think he's at the centre-back now. And, we need the mobility elsewhere. But, for the number 10, there's so many different types of number 10s you could have.
Well,
I think it's unfair.
You look at Saturday then, David Turnbull, he doesn't run as much as what perhaps Ruben would without the ball then. So I suppose when you look at the whole package of a number 10, you've got there's lots of little different things to look at in it. And, I'm no football coach or at that level or whatever. So do you know what I mean? There's things that people are looking at behind closed doors that we wouldn't probably even think about. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It's a great question. I'm a great fan of Ruben, and I know there's there's hot and cold, a lot around Ruben, and I think the young man's got loads of talent, and some of the goals he scored for us are great. Sometimes I think he may keep the ball a little bit too long at times, where it could have been distributed earlier, and he ends up losing it or whatever. But before he got injured, I thought, again, his work rate has gone through the roof this season. His pressing and things. I don't think
captain as well
much of that last year. So I'm looking forward to getting him back, and whether that's he's not going to start straight away. He'll be filtered back through the team the right way, and he's a massive talent. So for us to have him available is going to be a massive benefit for us, with the running that we've got.
Yeah, I mean, for me, he's the most creative player at the club. Undoubtedly, he creates stuff sometimes, and nobody expects. He's good at the body feints, fake shots, and he's not doesn't do tons of flashy things, but it shows that pace is only one element of the game. And I will say, when he presses, he is sprinting. He is, he's not the slowest player. He's got obviously 6'4", 6'5" to make up for maybe the lack of paces like someone like Isaac Davis has. But, like even Yusuf Salek, he's not really that slow for a tall leggy player. I think Ruben Colwell maybe gets a bit of criticism because, he takes it, like you said, takes a bit too long on the ball. But that's something that can be fine-tuned. That's a minuscule thing. And, it's not like we've only just started performing now without him, to be fair. So, I think like the Rio Ferdinand meme goes, like you can compare Messi and Ronaldo, whatever, just enjoy them, man. Like just enjoy apples and oranges. Let's not, let's not have to like make a comparison. But no, it's a great comment, I will say. I want to say, evening, Cardiff City fan as well. Nice to see you again. Go on, Matt, if you have any other comments that you want to chuck at me, because I know you're better picking up comments, to be too fair.
So come on, Matt. You've got to learn, Matt. You've got to learn. You filter your way through them, buddy.
Oh, so I was giving you time to go on. Let's have a look. Oh, here we are. Okay. Oh, that's a thought. I didn't think about this because NG went off, didn't he? Yeah. Worrying Kapaku and NG are out. Weird Joel Colwell came on with Fish and Law on the bench. I'll play Chambers right back. Ooh, if those two can't play. Ooh, I don't think Chambers will like that. I think he was pretty clear he didn't want to play, but if the shoe fits. But
I think the mindset within the old squad have completely changed this season, to be honest. And if BBM asked Chambers to play there now, I don't think he'd have any hesitation. I don't know for definite, but I think the mindset is completely different to what we had last year. You look at Ollie Tanner getting injured. He chased that ball down to try and save it going out for a goal kick or whatever, and he ended up clattering the hoarding boards. He wouldn't have done that last year. No way he wouldn't, chase that ball out. And the amount of late goals we've scored this year, we don't give in until our final whistle goes. I think that's something that's been instilled by BBM, and I just think the togetherness now. If Callum Chambers have got to do what's right on that particular day for the team, I think he'd do it. I think somebody said last night there was something going on in Cardiff last night with BBM. I'm not sure if he's meeting up with fans and things, but I think he said Kapakio should be back. Fit for the weekend, so
here we are. Jonathan says, "There we are." Our scout Jonathan, a media journalist over here.
He's starting to take over Rhys David Evans' mantle now. Rhys David Evans used to be the first one in all the comments with all the answers and stuff.
He's got promotion now, isn't he? So
Jonathan has surpassed Rhys David Evans now. The next thing now is to get Jonathan on a podcast.
Rhys David Evans has been demoted to the host.
He's a top man.
He's been relegated to a host instead of promoted to the comment section. I love a Rhys comment today. He has some cracking views, I gotta say. They're all back, does he, guys? Ruben had something different. He is still watching the boys, I guarantee. He's chomping at the bit to get back involved and may see slight improvements before he went out. Tanner is back hungry. I mean, I don't think you need to say much about that really, because it's summed up there, isn't it?
But I think it's obviously it must be a massive difference, being in and around a squad that's winning week in, week out. I know obviously we've had the odd slip up, but the environment that was we were in this time last season where we're fighting for our lives. I bet people weren't really busting a gut as much as probably what they would be now, because
probably
we're
fighting each other.
Do you know what I mean? And there's so much competition and healthy competition in and around the squad. I think that's only a positive as well. And I'm looking forward to getting Ruben back fit, because I think Cardiff are definitely a better side when he's in the squad.
If I'm being honest now, and I'll quickly, because no one's touched on this yet, if I were to sign any player now, it would just be a left back, and I wouldn't mind riding the season out. I think you can look at some positions and be like, we could probably strengthen you, get another striker in. But if I'm being honest now, you really don't want to ruffle any feathers, do you? You want to, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Like one of the comments said earlier, I think left back is a must for a backup, but I wouldn't even say you bring in a lone left back, because they're going to expect to play, and that's the only position I would strengthen right now.
I would tend to agree with you there, mate, 100%, and then reevaluate and look at where where we're at in the summer.
Save your budget,
additions that can be made for us to be competitive in the championship. To be fair, like you said, let's not upset the apple cart too much. And I think it'll benefit us, if we bring in another 3 or 4 players on loan, and there is rumours that it is another 2, potentially 3 coming in. I just think if those 3 didn't come in then, for example, it just makes our youngsters, they're playing more, and our squad are playing more together. And yeah, in the long run, that might benefit us. But like you said, football, you can pick up 1 or 2 injuries over the weekend, and it's kind of hard work then type of thing. But we'll see.
I call it the Isaac Vassell effect, where as soon as you get injured, well, to be fair, he scored a debut goal, but it's football's a cruel sport. Let's not kid ourselves. And you said about healthy competition. At the end of the day, it is, a whole injury can set you back. I mean, think of Alex Robertson, really. I mean, he wasn't just chucked straight back into the team, and some of us were probably thinking, oh, what's happening with him? Is he actually going to go in January? But he's come back now, and I think, looking at Cardiff City fans' comment, saying I'm not against Ruben 8, Kellyman 10, but Robertson and Wintle seem undroppable at the minute, and I tend to agree. I mean, if again, not broken, don't fix it. I think Wintle has been massively underrated this season, and Robertson now, I think he's quietly gone about his way really well. So look as well, I'm trying to see, Graham. Ruben was forming a good partnership with Tanner. Yeah, to be fair, you would see them training together in the warm-ups. It was together. So it was a big blow, I think, for Ruben when Tanner got injured, to be fair. And now that Ruben's got injured, Tanner's back. We see the other side of it. So look as well. Togetherness will be the key for the rest of the season. Go on.
I was going to say, Cardiff City fan, this is a great one. Ooh. Would you go Chambers, Lawler, Fish, or Osho as a right back, or anybody else? Obviously, the Joel situation on the weekend, they'd worked at that apparently before training, before obviously that happened over the weekend. I thought it was, as we discussed a little bit earlier, I thought it was slightly strange when it happened on the day. And Bradford did look to target and put Joel under pressure. I think he picked up a yellow card as well in the second half, and I just thought it had Mafiko playing at left back written all over it again for me, and the pressure that he was put under. But I thought Joel dealt with it well. You could tell it was not his chosen first position. But again, he's a young kid, Cardiff City fan, who just wants to probably be out on the pitch and giving it his all. And I thought he, considering that's not his main position, he acquitted himself, quite well, to be fair. But in relation to that comment there, would you go Chambers, Lawler, Fish, or Osho? I would probably say Fish, and whether that means then it'd be a back 3 of Fish, Lawler, and Chambers, I don't know. It's such a difficult one now, because I thought Osho was outstanding Saturday for Bradford. Is Lawler going to be fit enough to come straight back in the side? Does he deserve to come straight back in the side given the performance from Chambers and Osho on the weekend? Or has he got to, I think the big thing with BBM is that he's if you perform well in training, that obviously counts towards being selected for the weekend. So, we can all say here now Chambers and Osho were outstanding, but if then they're doing stuff behind closed doors and Lawler's amazing, then see what happens.
It almost become a meme at some point where we'd lose a game and Reece would go, oh, they must have performed really well in training then. But no, if I had to choose, it probably would be Fish. I think it's just the safest option. He's played the right back a few times. I wouldn't mind I wouldn't mind Joel Colwell playing it anyway. And I didn't see him play in the second half, only highlights. But like I seen him in pre-season, I think just having that bags of energy helps. I just think maybe the defensive naivety of just not being a familiar position for him as much as, say, Will Fish. But I think you need someone that's going to have pace that can go up and down that wing a lot. And I wouldn't pick Lawler, mainly because I think, a player like him, he excels in one position, and that's where he should play as centre-back. I think Joel Bagan can do a job at centre-back as well, but I would never move Joel Bagan at right-back if, say, there's someone else left-back cover. Like, to me, Joel Bagan is a left-back only, and Lawler's a centre-back only. I think Osho could do a job there as well, but if I'm being honest, he's only just recovered his form, I think, as centre-back. I think just keep him there. Like, I know I could say him as 6, but for me, it's Will Fish every day, I think. I just think he has a bit of edge experience in that. I mean, Chambers possibly, but let's be honest, I don't think he's really got the pace against some of the wingers in the league. I could be wrong.
No, and the big thing for Fish for me with his diagonal balls he'd play, I'm a big fan of that at times, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
You're just been. Oh, we're gonna sum up in a couple of minutes, but get your last comments in, guys, and who we got next? We got Stockport next. Get your predictions in for Stockport. Get your early predictions in. Capaccio just been linked with Brentford apparently, so that basically means like
we're not selling anyone. Nobody is going anywhere. They're all aboard the BBM train, and no one is jumping off any station anytime soon. Up your guts. We're top of the league, and we're staying there. How many more wins do we realistically need in there, mate, before 20 games to go? Currently on 55 points.
We're looking at about to get promoted. Hang on, I've asked ChatGPT games played 26. We're looking at about points needed about 35 for comfortable promotion. So that's about, we can afford to have 10 wins, 5 draws and 5 losses. So you're probably looking about...
When you look at it like that, right, you say there 10 wins, 5 draws and 5 losses. That's doable, isn't it? 100%.
That's very, very doable. I mean, we haven't lost that many games this season so far anyway. I think we've lost about six or so games. How many lost? Oh, 5. We've lost 5 games, you know? So, you know, it's very doable. I think you're looking at that. It's more realistic. A strong finish, you're looking at about 12, possibly 13 wins, which is, you know, 39 points from 13 wins. Yeah, I think, look, with other teams, I feel like they will drop off as well. I think you're going to see a real drop off with some teams. I just hope we're not in the dogfight in the playoffs, because if there's one thing I know with Cardiff, we're not exactly known for the playoffs, at least not since I've been around anyway. But,
no, that's not good for anybody's blood pressure going through playoff games.
Too bad enough.
Honest, but,
oh,
yeah, I think at the end of the day, the ball is in our court. We keep performing the way we're performing. Treat Cardiff City Stadium as a fortress, which we've got to keep doing. Then, pick up the 3 points at home. If we can pick up points away from home, then happy days. But yeah, we're in a great place and couldn't have asked for much more, really. And expectations wise at the start of the season is, yeah.
Here we are. Just to finish up on Cardiff City fans, says if we got a point for every away game and 3 from home, we will win it by March, April. I'm not sure if you've calculated that up specifically or if you're just theorizing, but it sounds about right, to be fair. Like, the main thing is win your home games and then, don't lose your away games, I think, is the sort of thing. And we've done that so far pretty well. Yeah, honestly, and again, last thing I will say is after Roger says that potentially 3 Welsh teams in the Championship next season, I'm not sure you're on about. I thought Swansea get relegated, but
break the champagne out. Cardiff maybe get promotion to Championship, then back down again to League One. So we've obviously got someone in the chat who's not a Cardiff fan, but thank you very much for tuning in and engaging. Hey, much appreciated.
I've already got the champagne in my description, so don't worry, I'm getting carried away. But guys, again, appreciate everyone interacting in the comments. The readers help us out. And again, it's lovely to see so many members in the comments as well as usual. Matt, thanks so much for joining me.
I'll finish off on this one. Sorry, Ev, just a thing in. Cardiff City fan, only because you put so many comments in, my friend. Where would you put this Cardiff team to finish in the Championship? On today's current squad, mate, I would say mid-table.
Yeah, that's a 12.
I think obviously if we do get promoted, I think there would be experience needed in certain areas, I think. But then again, I might be surprised, and I think we'd have more time on the ball in the Championship. But I'm just a fan.
The BBM effect. I reckon we'll get 11.
I don't know anything about coaching and stuff, so I could be completely barking up the wrong tree. But no, I would say mid-table, and then depending on what additions we can make during the summer.
Cracking. Awesome. That's a good one to finish on, Matt. And again, thank you for joining tonight as well. I'm not on my own. Appreciate it.
No problems.
Right, and we'll see you all soon. And Cardiff to win 3-0 against Stockport. Let's go.
4-0.
See you soon. 4-0. Let's go. Hey, top.
Maxwell Beats.
For your Caesar. Cardiff City, ride with me for your Caesar.